All good. Lewis, we've read the news, we've allowed ourselves to shed a wee tear with the reveal video. Let's hear the news from you. Say the words, tell us you're staying.
I'm staying for a 2-year extension I've signed, so absolutely delighted to stay here for another 2 years. Been here for a very long time, so feeling right at home.
You always feel at home here. Let's we're going to kind of cover a wee bit of your kind of career, but ultimately we're focused on why sign the deal, why now, what is it that motivates you to just keep wearing that badge that's on your chest?
For me at this moment in time, the way that we're going, the trajectory is massive compared to last season. You know, we're joint top of the league of the Championship and a chance to go in the Scottish Premiership. Didn't get me wrong, there's still a long way to go, but I've put ourselves in a real strong position. And just the way that I get on with everybody around the club, I didn't have a bad word to say about the club. I speak to everybody around the club, I love everyone at the club, so it was a no-brainer to stay.
We've been on camera loads of times together. There's a box set of interviews out there, so I was really conscious. For me, it would be really lazy for me to say, you know, let's focus on your recovery and that kind of story. We're there, we've done that. But it strikes me in preparing today that you've repaid the debt of gratitude, and I wonder if this new contract is actually firmly embedded in aspiration, motivation, and, as you say, the trajectory of the club.
Aye, definitely. Obviously, the way that the season started has been amazing. It's one of the best teams I've been involved in at the club. You can see that on the pitch. The fans have been different class this season, get behind the boys as well. So it was a no-brainer to sign the extension.
You're not scared of a challenge, and you know the unknown more than most. Do you sense that the expectations at every level in this club are now moved up
I think so.
zone? I
think they've went up. The expectations for everyone on the club's went up, and we've put that on ourselves because of how well we've actually done. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind having a bit of pressure. I think it brings the best out of people when you have a bit of pressure on us. So yeah, I thrive under pressure, so I don't mind it.
In terms of the support, expectations have risen along with the numbers. So the dejection's there, where maybe in the past we've all walked away maybe a bit casually and says, well, we were close, or well, we got a point, that's good enough. We're not in an area of our Rovers support in life where that's acceptable. No. How does that transfer to your mindset? Because it strikes the fact that you've re-signed that your mindset's saying, yeah, I'm all in, I've got more gears to go through.
Definitely, and I think everybody in the change room's got more gears to go through, for the coaching staff to the players. And as you say, disappointment's not a bad thing. You know, you look at what we've done this season, and obviously Saturday, for an example, being disappointed and not happy with the end result at the full time, for the fans, to the players, to the staff. It's normal. Disappointment's not a bad thing. You can learn from that and move forward in a positive way. You know, there's going to be games that we didn't play our best. Everyone has off days. We're going to have them, but it's about how we bounce back, and hopefully we can make it right on Saturday.
There will be folks out there who have followed your story who are obviously not Raith Rovers supporters, maybe supporters of much bigger clubs. We would always say there's certainly bigger clubs than us, but there's certainly none better.
Yep.
Explain a wee bit about what it is about this place that's special, because you know, we speak round about the doors. We know that you're a player who has offers, who has options, but there was never a doubt that you wanted to remain here. What is it about the place, the people, the setup that's special?
I think it's just the real togetherness that we have. For everybody around the club, for the office staff, to Linda who's cleaning the change rooms, to Si at the kit man, and John who comes in and helps on match days, RaithTV, yourself, the hospitality, the players, the fans. It's just a real community club, and everybody gets behind each other, and at this moment in time we're thriving.
We are indeed. Now, I know from, let's say, I was going to say hundreds, but maybe several thousands of texts that you like a stat. You like to know where you sit in the whole kind of pantheon of Raith Rovers history. So I was looking at some of these today. Phil Nicholson, our club statistician, always sends me the stuff, and we know you lap these up. And one jumped out to me. Do you know where you sit in the all-time appearances across everybody who's ever worn that jersey from 1883?
I don't, but I feel like it's not as what it should be, obviously, for the well-documented injuries, but I may be surprised. I didn't actually know.
50th.
Out of all
50th in our all-time appearances across 1883 to where we sit today in 2024.
Considering the situation, it's no bad.
And actually, if we kind of boil it down a wee bit further, just end of the season, could go top 45.
Surprised by that. What's the goals?
I watched the goals. You knew I'd have the goals, didn't you?
I did.
So, goals. Your tally's at 84 just now. So you've made the top 20.
We had a wee target at the start of the season, didn't we?
We did, didn't we? We've had a bit of fun with that because your target was to get top 20.
Top 20.
Before the end of the season.
Achieved it before Christmas.
And you'd done it before we got into 2024. So you're sitting at the moment number 20. And I want to run off some of the names that some of them will mean a bit to you, and some of them will mean much more to the Rovers supporters kind of tuning in, because you've gone past some legendary goal scorers: Andy Harrow, Paul Smith, Johnny Urquhart, Colin Harris. These are people that we really look up to and will going on. You are in the top 20 and you are 16 goals away from 100.
Wow.
And that would take you up top 15.
I think that's the next goal.
Is that our next target?
That's the next target.
Great.
We'll put it there.
I better get paying my phone bill then and making sure that the WhatsApp's up to date there. What does it mean to be in amongst these legendary names? You know your Rovers history really well. You've been through all the hospitality. You've met former players. Our former players association's exceptional, and it's welcome to former players. So you know a lot of these names. You know how good they were.
Yeah.
Your name's right in amongst it.
It's a pleasure to score so many goals for the club. If you asked me, whenever I scored my first goal, I think it was about 9-10 years ago now, against Queen's Park out there, if I'd gone on to score 84 goals for the Rovers, I probably wouldn't believe you. So it's a real pleasure to be involved with the names.
Your enthusiasm never dips for playing, but also for scoring goals. This is the impossible question. More talented interviewers than me across the world of football have asked the question. How does it feel when there's that burst of energy, there's that ripple of the net, particularly at the south stand, and you just glance and it, men, women, children, if they're able, they raise to their feet. How?
It's so hard to describe, Davey. There's no other feeling like it. I think that's what drives people back and drives me to do more. Score as many goals as I can, because the feeling you get, scoring an equaliser, scoring a last minute goal, scoring hat tricks, it's something that's undescribable. The feeling's just magic, especially scoring in that south stand when it's packed. I've been fortunate I've been able to do it on a number of occasions, and hopefully there's many more to come. You'll
know exactly how many times you've done it, because we'll give you the stats on what end, how many headers, how many volleys, how many penalties.
I should know, but it's a made in my memory.
We'll email it across to you again. A wee bit of wider context. This is an interview that's about looking forward, but your story is embedded in the past as well as the future. So give me some quick thoughts for those who've not seen our longer interviews in terms of your first appearance. It was
Morton.
2012, Morton. We won 3-1.
Yep.
And you came on in the 85th minute.
Yep. It was my debut. John McGlynn. I signed in January. Left school, signed in January. John McGlynn signed me, gave me my first professional contract. I think it was a 2.5 year apprenticeship. And I made my debut the last game of the season against Morton. Right. And that was a dream come true.
At that point, you're wide-eyed and full of hope.
Aye.
Here's where you are.
It seems like a world away. Certainly a long time ago now, feeling a bit older.
You've grown up here, haven't you? You've said to me, just in the past, but I think you've also said in camera that you've grown from a boy to a man here.
People forget that before I made my first team debut, there was a good 2.5 years before that where I played for the 17s, the 20s, as a kid growing up. Being at school, coming to play for the Rovers, training twice a night, playing at the Rovers on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. John McGlynn coming to watch me play for under 20s, and then people just see the documentation for the January when I signed my first professional contract, but there was still 2.5 years before that. So
2011 was the first time that we spoke to you through RaithTV. I mean, we thought 13 years ago, and here we are. And one of my fond memories was, I've not got it here as your stats, but I could say, what was your first on-camera interview? And can you remember, you had so much nerves? How did we stage it?
I did. It was my first start against Dundee out there, and to this day, I would tell you it's my best ever game.
Brilliant. It was the next thing I was going to come on to, was because your debut was your full debut, 0-0 draw.
Yep.
In 2013, first goal, you mentioned it there, a 6-0, taken apart of Queen's Park at that time, on in the 70th minute, scored in the 88th.
It's not bad. Another last minute goal. Well, just a bit.
We like late goals, of course, but we just like goals. Your 100th appearance, 3-0 win against Brora Rangers here.
Scored.
Iron Brew Cup, you got a goal there. And one of the wee stats that is a game you're asked more than than any other match you've played. But
Aye.
I like the wee nugget that's in there is your third for the hat-trick against Dunfermline.
Yep.
Your 50th goal.
I know that because it was on the commentary in the BBC. If you listen to the commentary on the BBC, the commentator actually says it's my 50th goal for the club, so it was made to be.
Scott Davy, big Rovers man, he would know that.
Aye.
Absolutely. What's next in terms of your wildest imagination?
To go to the Premier League. I think it has to be for everybody at the club. The way that we've, I don't know if developed's the right word, but the way we've went about this season, the positiveness, and there's still a long way to go, don't get me wrong, but whether we go up this year or next year, whenever that may be, is my dream is to get the club to the Premier League and play for the club in the Premier League, and top it off would be to score in the Premier League. Is
that born not solely a sense of what's happening on the 90 minutes on the pitch, the attitude, the mindset, the changes in training, the investment in infrastructure? I was listening and I was just chatting with Andy moments ago there about setting up an interview, and he was saying, if you want to be a Premier League club, you've got to have a mindset from the beginning of the season that's where we are, and so that's why investment in lounges comes after investment in ice baths and all of the stuff that you love so much.
Yeah, I think all these wee things make a difference, all these wee percentages that all add up. The end goal is to get to the Premier League, and I think that everybody needs to be pulling in the same direction, for the fans, to the board, to the players, the staff, everybody pulling in the same direction, and all these wee percentages make up a whole to get to where we want to be.
The supporters are coming back in their droves.
Yeah.
We are shown that there's an interest in the club that it's certainly waned over the last 10, 20, 30 years, but there is a hunger for us to actually be more than plucky wee Raith Rovers.
Yeah.
Mid championship, but we've got a record here, kind of two league defeats in a year.
It's unbelievable, David, if I'm being honest. Obviously we're disappointed with Saturday. That's only the second league defeat in however long it was, so it's honestly unbelievable. If you told us we were going to lose 2 games, and was it 27 you said?
Yeah.
You'd snatch your hand off. And as I said, disappointing is not a bad thing. The boys are absolutely raging after a defeat in there, and we just want to make it right the next week.
Looking back to when you first signed, and everybody who's worked with John McGlynn and Paul Smith has the utmost of respect for them, their sessions, their drills, their knowledge of the game. But the game itself has kind of moved on since you were here as a 16-year-old.
Yep.
What's the biggest difference
in the game?
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot more athletic and athletes that play the game. Going back a few years, I would say it's a bit more. It's still technical, don't get me wrong, but I think athletes are coming more and more into football. More stats and more running stats and science stats are getting looked at rather than the plain and simple football stats, which are the main for me. Luckily, I like to keep my football stats. I know them off by heart, but I think sometimes the running stats get a bit overlooked rather than the football ones.
You know that supporters hold a special affection for you here. You see it, you feel it. Social media hopefully gives you that kind of swell of positivity. And I'm going to use a word that especially grown men, but certainly in a football sense, are a bit bashful. I've got broad shoulders. I'll be shot down in it. You really are loved here.
I feel it, to be honest. I do feel it, and the feeling's mutual. I love being here. I love playing in front of the fans. I love scoring in front of the fans. It's amazing. I love playing here. It's an amazing stadium. It's an amazing club. So I do feel right at home here, and I appreciate the support for everyone, the fans that come in their droves every single week. The support that I've received for the good and the bad has been unbelievable, and I'll never forget it.
Watch a football game, see somebody who's been born within a kind of 30-mile radius of the stadium, and they have a good game. It's always wheeled out. He's one of our own. Some local kid, plays 20 games, bags half a dozen goals. Surely we've got dibs on that chant for you.
I think so. I've been here for a long time now. Edinburgh's only across the bridge, but I'll definitely say it's my second home.
Been working on that nickname?
I've no. Have you came up with one?
Well, we did have a go at the Link Street Lewandowski, but that bombed.
Don't know if
Midlothian
it
Messi had a wee bit of mileage in it.
That's not bad.
We're needing some direction in that commentary box.
See if anybody can help us out.
There's your takeaway homework. There's the Twitter question there. You got copyright on LV10. Is the fashion range coming out soon?
It's not a bad option, that, is it?
Happy to take 10%.
We can talk after.
We'll talk after it. Who you want to? Who are the unsung heroes? Who are the people that maybe don't realise that just that text, just that smile, just that nudge has helped you along your way?
I think everybody that's been across my journey, from, I wouldn't say anyone in particular, just the whole club coming together. And also I can't forget to mention Cameron Ross, who went out his way for me numerous occasions through injury prevention, injury rehab, coming back from injuries. He went above and beyond for me on the daily basis. So if he was one that I had to single out, it would be Cammy, who's went above and beyond for me for years. But it's just the whole support I've received for everyone through my whole career at the club. We
should never get tired of saying thanks, should we?
No, thank you, Davey.
Thanks, Lewis. I don't really normally do this in kind of commentary, but I was having a chat with Jim, who does our co-commentary. He's a big American football fan, and we were looking at some quotes. We seen one and we said it's Lewis Vaughan's story. So there's an American coach called Marv Levy who said football doesn't build character, it reveals character.
I mind you saying that after the Queen's Park
he scored, absolutely. Yep. What has this whole journey taught you about the essence of Lewis Vaughan? What's it told you about your inner strength, your character?
That I'm mentally stronger than I ever will be, and you didn't really realise that until you're put in a situation that you have to deal with, to be honest. And until you're put in the situation, you didn't think you can deal with it, but when you are, you just get on with it. And I think that would go for everyone. People say like you must be mentally tough, mentally strong. Well, I am, but it's because I had to be. And as I said, it's, for me the time was going to pass anyway, so I gave it my all, and I knew that it was only a matter of time till I came back and go back to my best.
That's what you had to be, but we know now what you need to be. It's simply a goal scorer.
Aye. I've started well. I started the first season well, scoring 13 goals. I had a target for the first half of the season. I've surpassed that, so I'm due a goal. I've not scored the last few games, so the last one was a hat-trick against Ayr, so hopefully they start coming along again.
New players arriving, contracts getting renegotiated. I think probably the most important question that I ever put to anybody is one where you look down the camera and say, speak to Raith Rovers supporters. What have I not asked? What have we not given you the opportunity to say? Sitting in, their cars, their vans, sitting at the table at their work, having their lunch, sitting in a living room, they always look up a Lewis Vaughan interview. What do you want to say to the people who back you on a Saturday, but back you in a much wider sense than that?
Obviously, first of all, back me on a Saturday is just unbelievable. The way that they come out in their numbers, especially this season, has been unbelievable. The support they give to the club. Singing a player's name for 20-30 seconds might mean nothing to somebody in the stand, but to a player it does give you a real lift. We win a corner on a Saturday and the fans are roaring behind the stand, it does give you a lift, and you do notice it as a player. So it's all these wee things that can give a player a bit of confidence. Screaming if we win a free kick, if a player does a bit of skill, whatever, all these wee things add up and make a massive difference to a player, especially on a Saturday. And giving a player that wee bit of confidence can win you leagues, can win you cups, and can propel you into something bigger and better.
I'm always struck with the pride that you've got for being part of something that we cherish so much. It's a cornerstone of all our lives, and our families' lives going back sometimes over 100 years. Yep. Do you still feel that swell of pride when you meet somebody you don't know? You like to get about, your family like a wee holiday, and you shake hands and you say, "Oh, I'm Lewis, I'm a professional football player," and then you add on, "and I play for Raith Rovers." Does that still give you that extra little bit of joy?
Aye, it does. I kind of keep it to myself. I didn't like to say I play football and that. I kind of like to keep my private self to myself, but if somebody asks, then they ask. But of course it's a massive pride for me. It's an honour to say that I play for this club.
Well, what I would wish to end by saying is really just on behalf of every Raith Rovers supporters, we're simply thrilled that you've re-signed. We'd wish to see your most extravagant ambition come true. Lewis Vaughan, looking forward to watching you many more times in the future.
Cheers, Davey, thanks very much. Cheers.